ladies of the Westchester Welfare Group, you haven't come to hear me talk on can criminals really reform. You're here as one might drop in at the zoo to see what the lone wolf really looks like. You see before you a man who, in his time, was blamed by the police and the newspapers for every major jewel robbery in the country. Some of the time they were right. But now that it's all over, believe me, I have nothing but regret for those wasted, adventurous years. Jameson, I can't say this tripe.
Oh, but you must, sir. Mrs. Van Allen is depending on you. Oh, I'm sure the speech is just the kind of bilge the good ladies expect. Oh, please go on, Mr. Lanyard. Just once more, through to the end.
Why did I ever promise that infernal woman to come and make a public spectacle of myself?
Because she represents the respectable citizenry of which you are rapidly becoming a member.
If there is one thought I wish to leave with you today, it is that virtue is its own reward, and that
crime does not pay. Oh, I know how you feel, sir. But sometimes public speakers have to say things that don't express their true feelings. Oh, please go on, sir. Just for me.
And that crime does not pay. As I remarked to your charming president, Mrs. Van Allen, Mrs. Larimore Van Allen, only a few days ago, my own experience has proved to me that the odds are all on the side of the law. You cannot outsmart the police. The detective can make 99 mistakes out of 100 tries and still win. But the fugitive from justice dare not make even one mistake. Imagine, ladies, the horror of those hunted nights. The wild escapes with every man's hand against you.
Hey, handsome, can you tell me if this is where Mr. Michael Lanyard's speaking?
It says so right there on the sign, don't it?
Darned if it doesn't. Thanks.
And where do you think you're going?
Down to see Mr. Lanyard, it says on the sign.
It also says admission by card only. You got one?
Oh, please, mister, I've just got to get in.
By card only.
You mean it won't do any good if I flicker my eyelashes or cry a little bit? Or give you my phone number?
It will not.
Well, then, will you take a note to Mr. Lanyard? It's very important.
I guess I can manage that.
And in conclusion, let me say it's been a pleasure. A very great pleasure to be with you this evening and to have the honor of addressing you. And though it is not my practice to speak publicly, I still could not let the opportunity go by of presenting to you...
It's a note for your boss. The dame left it with the
some
doorman.
of the angles
she
of
says
the
it's a matter of life or death.
seem important to me. It's high time.
Life or death?
People like yourselves was turned toward the problem of the reformed criminal who is making a sincere effort to readjust himself to society. If I have succeeded in giving you a thought or two to carry away with you tonight, my efforts have not been in vain.
Nice, oh, Michael. So deep.
Oh, Mr. Lanyard. Mr. Lanyard. Mr. Lanyard.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. It's so nice to meet you. Well, if it isn't Sergeant Dickens, what are you here for?
As if we both didn't know. Come on, the inspector wants to talk to you. Sorry, ladies, sorry.
You know, one of those nice...
Lanyard, gangway, please. Gangway, please, ladies, madam, gangway, please, Mr. Lanyard.
Shall I call you a cab, sir?
We've got our own, thanks, Bud.
Mr. Lanyard, I've got a message for you.
Oh, it's you. Well, that message can wait. All right, Lanyard.
Well, please.
Mr. Lanyard, can I speak to you privately for a moment?
Sergeant, do you mind stepping into the next room for a moment?
Yes, certainly. Quiet, you. Okay, driver.
Taxi! Follow that car.
Inspector Crane. Don't tell me you've moved headquarters.
Never mind. I got him, Inspector.
Hello, Lanyard. Dickens, what you put those handcuffs on Mr. Lanyard for? Take him off.
Huh?
I told you to find him and ask him politely if he could spare the time to come down here at his convenience.
Yes, sir, you did, Inspector, but on account of the way it's always been, I figured... Do you mean you weren't kidding?
Oh. I'm sorry this happened, Mike. I apologize.
Inspector, I'm seeing a new side to your nature. What is this, the iron hand and the velvet glove?
I'd like to have you take a look at something if you can spare just an hour or so of your time.
Lead on, Inspector. I wouldn't miss it for anything. Whatever it is.
Thanks, Mike. It's right in here. Come on.
Mr. Lanyard!
No, you don't. You stay out here. There's nothing for you to see.
Well, I've seen everything anyway.
If it's the Statue of Liberty you're going to show me, Inspector, I've seen it.
Everything all right?
Everything's as quiet as a tomb, Inspector.
Keep your eyes open just the same. Never can tell when it'll happen.
Sergeant Dickens been going in for target practice again?
Some ship coming through the blockade. Colonel Costell's expecting us.
This way, please.
Yes? What is it?
Inspector Crane and some gentlemen to see you, sir.
Show them in. And get to your quarters, Bernard. You won't be needed anymore tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Here we are, Colonel.
Good. We will be coming very anxious.
This is Mr. Lanyard. He's had some experience in these matters. Colonel Costel.
How do you do, Mr.
do,
Lanyard?
sir.
This is Deputy Duval and Mr. Evans, who's handling the business end of the matter.
Gentlemen,
The Colonel just managed to bring this yacht through the U-boat blockade.
congratulations on getting here. There are holes in the ship you could drive an automobile through.
We had to get here. We have work to do in your country. We must raise money to finance continued resistance to our enemy.
We haven't much time, Colonel.
Yes, of course. Will you follow me, please?
Come on, Mike.
Mr. Garth, open. Will you open the safe, Mr. Garth? Mr. Garth is an American private detective who was stranded on the other side. It seemed wise to have someone on guard who's acquainted with criminal methods over here.
Yeah, well, let's hope he's not too well acquainted. Mr. Garth, just a minute, please. Lanyard, would you mind turning your back a minute?
Inspector.
I know, but I'm taking no chances.
The inspector thinks I have too good a memory for numbers, but go ahead, I won't peek.
You ever see anything like that, Lanyard?
It's the Napoleon collection.
Well, this gentleman is an expert. You're right, sir. These are the Napoleon jewels. We escaped with them only a few hours ahead of the invading army.
They're to be sold to raise money. American buyers have been invited to come aboard and have a look at them.
Look at them, I see.
He said, look, don't touch.
Well, Lanyard, by now you probably have a pretty good picture of the whole layout.
Probably.
Well, in that case, we'd better continue this on deck.
That'll be all, Mr. Garth.
Come on up.
What a rough weather we're having.
Do you feel it, too? I can't stand boats. I never could. Gets me here.
I know a wonderful remedy for seasickness.
You do?
You take a piece of salt pork.
Oh, Sergeant Dickens,
What do you want?
where's Mr. Lanyard?
He's been in there getting an eyeful, and now the inspector's giving him an earful. Why don't you go on home?
I should think that'll be a matter for the insurance company.
There isn't any insurance. No company to write a policy covering this boat in the harbor. And they can't take the jewels ashore without paying hundreds of thousands of dollars customs duty.
Well, why put this up to me? Is this a challenge, Inspector? Are you trying to tempt me out of retirement?
No, I only...
You only brought me down here to ask me how I'd go about stealing those jewels if I was still in business.
Why, how could the job be done?
I don't see how it could, with all the precautions that have been taken. Except by any jewel worker who knew his business. Lifting those jewels would be as easy as taking candy away from Sergeant Dickens.
Now listen, Michael.
Mr. Lanyard, I must see you for a moment.
1 minute, Jameson. The inspector has given me a problem to work out.
Yes, Michael. How would you steal those jewels?
Do you want me to give away trade secrets?
You're not supposed to be working at your trade. But seriously now, you've got to help us.
Why?
Because these men deserve our help. Their cause deserves it. They're fighting a battle we believe in against tremendous odds. This is the least we can do for them.
A point well taken, Inspector. Well, if I were to make a try for those jewels, I'd come aboard before the buyers and I'd borrow the key to the jewel cases.
You'd have a fine time doing that. There are only 2 keys. Detective Garth carries one around his neck and Dickens wears the other one.
Here it is.
It's gone! Why did you get it here a minute ago?
As I was saying, I'd borrow this key.
I might have known it. I knew I shouldn't trust you.
Just practicing, Inspector. The next step would be for me to...
Now, wait a minute. In the first place, how would you get aboard this yacht?
Well, it wouldn't be hard to get past your men on the dock. I'd simply pretend to be an immigration officer checking up on the crew, or a customs inspector. What's the matter with him?
Dickens, will you stop imagining you're seasick?
I'm not seasick now. I'm just sick. Listen, Inspector, a customs officer just did come aboard the boat. I okayed it.
How did you know he was a customs officer?
He said so.
Where is he? Find the colonel.
Find the colonel.
Search this ship.
Search. Why do I do these things? He wasn't in the crew's quarters where he said he was going.
Somebody's stealing my stuff.
Who's down below?
Just members of the party, refugees from my country.
Come on, we're searching the ship. We're searching the ship.
Excuse me, sir. Light for deck,
Jameson, we're searching the ship.
Take those rooms on the left there.
It's in here. A parrot.
Parrot. Come on.
Help!
Here, Inspector, only don't hurry. Everything's under control.
He was hiding in my closet. Please, take him away.
Got him, Dickens.
Customs officer, is it? Well, this is an old American costume.
You're a brave girl, Helene.
Just a minute, Inspector. There's one thing I'd like to know. What is going to be the next step? How are you going to get off the boat with the pearls?
Pearls.
Ixnay, Mug, I don't give away my methods. I'd have had the pearls and the other stuff, too, if that doll hadn't thrown a pair of pliers into the machinery.
What's she wearing them for? Why aren't they in the safe for the rest of the jewels?
Mr. Leon is wearing the pearls because that's her job. That's why she was brought along on the trip.
What?
Of course, Inspector. Pearls lose their luster and die unless they're worn almost every day.
Come on, let's go.
Just a minute, Dickens.
You're crazy, Lanyard. Well, you're crazy if you book that boat.
Why don't you keep out of this?
See the lipstick on his ear, Inspector? He's not guilty of anything except being in love. It's an act. No thief ever talked as tough as this young man tried to. Our friend here simply wanted to have some explanation for being caught in the girl's room.
I can explain, but not here.
Well, all right. Let him go.
But, Inspector, you can't prove the lady a liar. She said he was a big, bold bandit.
Take him off the boat under arrest. And when you get him to the pier entrance, kick him into the street.
Huh?
Go on. You heard me. Go on. All right. Now, let's get down to business, Lanyard. You were saying?
It seems to me that lifting those jewels would call for exactly the same technique that was used when the Hammond pearls were taken some years ago.
Yeah, I remember that job. Somehow they got rid of the guard. The robbery was accomplished by means of a piece of dark string tied to...
Mr. Lanyard, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Quiet. If you interrupt again, I'll have Dickens kick you off this boat.
I'm afraid Jameson doesn't approve of the company I'm keeping. Why don't you run along and keep your appointment if it matters so much to you?
Yes, but...
What's the matter with you? Did you kick that young Romeo into the street, as I told you?
I tried to, but when I went to kick him, he caught my ankle and I sat down.
Oh, please, Mr. Lanyard.
Okay, Dickens. See if you have any better luck with Jameson.
Huh?
You heard me. Out.
Out.
All right. Go ahead, Lanyard.
As I was saying, the plan would work like this. The thread used would be almost invisible, and it would be tied to the rail. Then I'd hide somewhere, perhaps in a lifeboat, until everybody had turned in. Then I'd have to take care of Detective Garth.
How?
Well, that could be accomplished in a number of ways. Is it clear so far?
Yes, go ahead. What next?
With Detective Garth out of the way, I'd go back on deck and haul in the oilskin case with my equipment, which I'd have planted underwater upstream.
What, again?
Well, anyway, in about 6 minutes, after I'd eliminated Garth, I'd have the jewels.
I ought to arrest you just for thinking such things.
Shall I, Inspector?
The rest is easy. I'd have to get away with the jewels, that's all.
Listen to him. That's all.
I can think of half a dozen ways of getting ashore with the loot. I might short the lighting system of the yacht and start a small fire up forward just to add to the confusion.
Oh. Burglary, mayhem, assault, arson. Go on, Lanyard.
Well, that's about all.
Well, that's plenty. Now, the first thing we do is change this whole layout. You cover every one of those loopholes.
Yes, Inspector, tonight?
Yes, tonight. And what's more, you and I stay right here on guard. Here. Where are you going, Lanyard? You stay right here where I can keep an eye on you.
Sorry, Inspector, I'm leaving.
Now, wait a minute, Mike. I need you to point out any crooks who might try to sneak on board.
I've helped you all I can. Besides, I don't know any crooks, and they don't know me. Remember, I'm the Lone Wolf. Get it? Wolf, not pigeon. Bye-bye.
I'd feel a whole lot better if that fellow was under lock and key.
Shall I shadow him, Inspector?
What's the use? Every time you try to shadow Lanyard, he always loses you. I wish I could. Oh.
When duty whispers low, thou must, then youth replies, well, I guess I can.
Yes?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Oh, Betty?
Come in quick. Well, here he is, gentlemen. Mr. Michael Lanyard, alias the Lone Wolf in person.
Yes, but really, I must be going.
Dapper Dan Strevers, my name, Mr. Lanyard. This is indeed a pleasure. Sit right down and meet the boys.
Oh, thank
no,
you.
not over there, Mr. Lanyard. Over here at the head of the table. There we are. Meet Jack of Diamonds. Did that big job down south last winter.
How do you do?
Next
How do you
comes
do?
Toledo Patterson. Of course, I don't have to tell you how he stands in the profession.
No.
That's 6 o'clock Sam, just got out of Auburn.
Hello.
And that's Uptown Bernie, who works the boats. Bubbles, of course, you've met.
How are you?
As a matter of fact, I'm not so very well, thank you. You see...
We haven't got
I
much
really-
time, Mr. Lanyard, so I'll get right down to brass tacks. Now, I suppose you're wondering why half a dozen of the top jewel operators in the country are gathered here, aren't you?
Well, as a matter
Why,
of fact,
course you
I-
are, naturally. Well, I'll tell you, it's because a job has come along that's too big for any one of us. We'd only be getting in each other's way.
And it's a pot that's plenty big enough to be cut up 7 ways.
Exactly. Now, first of all, we owe you an apology for the way we got you here. But we knew nothing else would bring you, and we wanted Mike Lanyard, huh?
One moment, gentlemen, please, one moment. There's been a mistake. I'm not Michael Lanyard. I'm his valet.
I thought there was something phony.
Oh, a wise guy, huh? Masquerade parties.
Wait a minute. When he came in, I knew I'd seen him somewhere. He was on board the yacht tonight with John Law.
Oh, a stool pigeon, huh? Don't be too sure. He might have been casing the joint.
Why, of course, he must be Lanyard. Who else would pull a trick like that right under the inspector's big nose?
I don't get it.
Well, I get it. You're not a wolf, Mr. Lanyard. You're a fox. Why, you almost had me believing it. How do you like that, trying to cross us up by pretending to be his own valet? And that's just the sort of a fast one Michael Lanyard would try to pull. Of course he doesn't want to come in with us. He's always worked solo. But we know who you are. It stands out all over you. And look, Mr. Lanyard, we may not be in your class, but we are on our toes. Now, why not work together with us in this deal?
Well,
Work together with us, or be alone in a nice, long mahogany box.
Please, 6 o'clock. Don't be so crude. That's the way it is, though, Mr. Lanyard, so you'll just have to make the best of it. Let's shake on it, huh?
Yes, well, you see, mahogany box?
You know, you're wise to take it like this. The boys aren't to be trifled with. They play for keeps. Well, that's settled. Now, the next step, I think, is to hold a little election.
I vote that we elect Michael Lanyard #1 unanimously.
And that's not a bad idea. After all, he's outsmarted nearly every one of us in the past, so he's the logical one to lead us, huh? How about it?
All right with me.
Okay, Chief. The blueprint, Bernie. Now, you've already been on board the boat, so you know the setup. Now, we'll show you what we've got figured out, and then you can point out where we're wrong.
Yeah, well, if only I can. I wish I could.
Now we see how the Lone Wolf snatches the jewels off the boat.
Oh, do we? Yeah, I mean, that's just the point, isn't it? How the Lone Wolf snatches the jewels off the boat.
Jameson. Jameson? Jameson, I'm hungry.
It's the same the old world over. It's the poor what gets the blame. It's the rich what gets the gravy. Ain't it a blinking shame? I wonder...
Yeah, what is it? Quiet, let him talk.
I was just thinking... Yes? I'm afraid that wouldn't do.
Oh, step on it, will you? That guy's been sitting there for an hour looking wise and saying nothing. How long are we supposed to wait?
Look, he's a genius. See, geniuses don't run on schedule. Let's get out of here and let him think. We'll be right in the next room. You take your time.
Yeah, only rush it along, will you?
Yes, I'm almost ready. I got the answer.
Is that mastermind still trying to get an idea? I gotta get back on the boat or they'll miss me.
If you ask me, he's not so much with that phony English accent.
Well, maybe he's through. Maybe he's washed up.
Wait a minute. He's not washed up. Lanyard's not stupid, but we are.
What do you mean?
I mean, that guy in there is stalling. He wants his job all for himself, so he's playing dumb. He's going to double-cross us.
I believe you've got something there.
Hold everything, gentlemen. Maybe you're right. I wouldn't put it past him. Let me handle this. Now, look here. You've had long enough. The night you snatched the ham and pearls right out from under my thumb, you didn't have any time at all.
So come through with a plan or else we'll have to get nasty.
The ham and pearls. Yes, yes, of course, that's the plan we ought to follow tonight.
Yes.
That was the time when the Lone Wolf, that was the time when I dragged my tools into the house on a black thread.
Yes, come on, go on.
Yes, now, look here, listen, gentlemen. My methods are strictly private. I'll lift those jewels for you, but I must have my special equipment. I must get back to my apartment.
Oh, no, you don't. He's not going anywhere. Whatever tools you need, we'll get them for you. Just tell us where they are.
Get them for you, yes. Oh, well, then, of course, then I'll telephone my valet and have him get the stuff ready for you. Any objections?
Yes,
Wait a minute. Why should we object? As long as we call the number for him just to make sure it's on the level. You don't mind, do you, Mr. Lanyard? You see, the boys are just naturally a little bit cautious. Huh?
Yes.
Mr. Lanyard's apartment. Who's calling, please?
Just a minute. Mr. Lanyard calling. Here, it's okay. You talk to him.
Hello? Jameson, this is Mr. Lanyard speaking.
Jameson, have you fallen off the wagon?
Now, look here, Jameson, my good man. I want you to do something for me. Try to understand.
Stop playing games, Jameson. Are you trying to kid me?
Oh, no, sir. Understand me? Oh, no, sir. Always say sir to me, Jameson.
What's wrong? Are you in a jam? Is somebody listening?
That's right, Jameson. Now, look here. I want you to pack up my equipment. The amplifier and the drills and all the rest. Do you know where they are? Try to think.
Want me to ask questions that you can answer, yes or no?
Yes.
You're in a jam. Somebody thinks you're me, right?
Right.
And they want you to pull a job?
That's right.
Well, here's your out. Tell them that your equipment is in the safe and no one else has the combination. Then they let you come home.
Right. Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but my valet says that most of my equipment's in the safe and he doesn't know the combination, so I'm afraid I'll have to run along and get it.
Sure. We'll run right along with you.
Yes.
Now, don't think that we don't trust you, Mr. Lanyard, but you know how it is.
Of course I do, certainly, yeah. Yeah, how is it?
Come on.
Wait a minute. We can't all go upstairs.
Why not? I don't trust this guy.
I know, but it mightn't look so good. You wouldn't want the night clerk to get any funny ideas, would you?
No, but I still don't like it.
Look, I didn't say he was to go up alone. What have we got Bubbles for, huh?
Sure, I'll chaperone him. Not to be nasty, Mr. Lanyard, but just to make sure you come back.
Ah, yes, of course, my dear. Certainly. Come along.
Good evening, madam. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Jameson. Yes,
Your hat, sir.
What? Oh, yes, thank you.
Highball, sir?
What? Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean to say, oh, yes, thank you. Won't you sit down?
Come on, we've got work to do. The boys are waiting.
Yes, they are.
Here you are, sir. Madam?
No, thanks.
Will that be all, sir?
What?
I suppose, sir, as usual, when you have, when you have company, sir, I'm to take the rest of the evening off?
What is this? I thought he knew why we're here.
Yes, just one moment, Jameson.
Yes, sir. Oh, I know, sir, the sandwiches. You'll find them in the kitchen, sir. I trust that everything will be to your satisfaction, sir.
Yes. And by the way, Jameson...
Yes, sir.
What am I paying you?
Why, $100 a month, sir.
Yes, well, make it 200.
200, sir?
Yes, Jameson, you're well worth it with all you go through for me.
Thank you, sir.
Quit stalling. We came here to get something, remember?
Oh, I wonder who that can be.
I'll see, sir. Shall I say you're not at home, sir?
Well, just say that,
Open the door. This is the law. Come on, open the door, Lanyard.
Oh, get baby out of here.
Hold the back door, quick. It's all clear.
Say, wait a minute. You're smarter than your boss, do you know that? And cuter.
Please, madam, I know my place.
Oh.
Come on, open the door, Lanyard. All right. Where is he? Where'd he go? Come clean, you. Oh, there you are.
I was just attending to some unfinished business. Well, Sergeant, fancy meeting you here. Am I arrested again?
Not exactly. The inspector don't want no shenanigans around that yacht. So he sent me here to spend the evening with you. Hope you don't mind.
Why, it's a positive pleasure to have you with us.
I hope you fellas aren't planning on taking any long walks, because I got orders to stick with you. And my feet are killing me.
No, Sergeant. Jameson and I are just planning a quiet evening at home. The peace and quiet of our own fireside. Eh, Jameson?
Well, not exactly, sir.
What's the matter?
It just occurred to me, sir, that gang of crooks must have decided to make a try for the jewels themselves, and anything they do will be blamed on us.
Oh, I don't think they'll get very far. The only way to lift those jewels is to use some variation of the method worked in the Hammond case.
Yes, I'm afraid, sir, that when I was on the spot, so to speak, well, as a matter of fact, I just possibly might have suggested the Hammond method to them myself.
Oh, that's bad. We'll have to get out of here.
What are you guys up to back there?
Are you making yourself comfortable, Sergeant?
Oh, yeah. You know, like the poet says, a policeman's lot is not a happy one. My feet are on fire.
Jameson, some beer for Sergeant Dickens.
Beer, sir?
Oh, no, not on duty, Mr. Lanyard.
Well, that isn't exactly what I meant.
Oh, beer, sir. Oh, yes, what Mr. Lanyard meant was that beer is a wonderful remedy for tired feet. Very cooling. I always recommend it.
Oh, Jameson will have you fixed up in a jiffy.
Well, that's mighty nice, Mr. Lanyard.
Excuse me, Dickens.
Beer?
Pour that.
This is certainly a new one on me.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. We learn something new every day. This is the stuff. Yeah, Sergeant.
Hey, where you going? No, you don't,
Where are we off to now, sir?
Back to the yacht as quickly as we can get there.
Don't be so nervous, Duval.
Colonel, I will not be able to sleep until our mission is accomplished.
You must have patience.
Colonel Costos! Good news, gentlemen. The jewel buyers will be here tonight. One of them is flying from Chicago.
Tonight?
Yes, they understood our need for speed and secrecy.
Perhaps we can conclude the whole deal at once.
Perhaps.
We must conclude it at once.
That'll be $4.50, sir. It's a long haul from the airport.
That's all right. It's on the expense account.
Thank you, sir.
Just a minute, please.
Isn't this Pier 2?
Yes?
My name's Vanderby of Black & Company. I have an appointment.
Well, I'm from headquarters, Mr. Vanderby. We have to take unusual precautions in this matter. May I see your identification?
Why, of course.
Well, everything seems to be okay. Just to make sure...
See here, officer, I'm not accustomed to this sort of thing. Let me see your badge.
My badge? Why, certainly.
Oh!
Now, remember, nobody gets aboard without proving his identity.
Yes, sir.
If there should be an alarm, we follow the plan I worked out, understand?
Yes, sir.
Officer, I'm looking for Colonel Costles.
Okay. Inspector, this is Mr. Vanderby of Black & Company.
Vanderby? Oh, yes. Come aboard, Mr. Vanderby. The others will be along soon.
Paul, why did you come back here?
To ask you once more to come away with me. Elaine, we can start a new life in this country.
Don't ask me to do that.
But why not, darling?
Because it's impossible. You better go now, please.
Not unless you come with me.
Paul, you must. If you're discovered here again, well, there's no point in committing suicide.
There's no point in anything without you. I'm going to surrender myself to Costles.
Wait. Let me speak to Colonel Costles first. Perhaps I can... Wait for me here. I'll try to bring him down.
The Colonel's waiting, miss.
I'm ready.
Very good, miss.
As experts, you appreciate there can be no question as to the authenticity of the jewels. Mr. Evans will distribute catalogs of the collection so you can identify the separate items when the jewels are brought in. Mr. Evans.
Colonel Costles, may I speak to you a moment?
You're supposed to be modeling the pearls.
Yes, I know, but this is very important. There is someone who must see you.
Later, child, later.
But I just want a word with the inspector.
No dice, Mr. Lanyard. We've got orders to keep everybody off the ship.
So just turn around and keep going.
What do we do now, sir?
No matter what we do, it seems to be the wrong thing. James and I have a premonition.
What is it?
Trouble. Well, he's knocked colder than a Christmas goose.
Here's what did it. If I may say so, sir, I think it's about time we, took a powder.
But we can't
Oh, you
leave.
bet you can't. Oh, Joe.
Yeah?
Pretty smart, aren't you, Lanyard? Well, this is one time you're too smart for your own good.
Well, that's one thing they'll never say about you, Sergeant.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I always said there'd be a time when you'd take one chance too many, Mike Lanyard. You might have killed him.
Well, even you ought to know better than that.
Tell it to the inspector.
Well, if you insist.
Really, Dickens, you're jumping to conclusions. Tell it to the inspector. This'll keep you safe until I can find him. And in the meantime, you can be thinking up a good story to tell him. And to make it extra sure, here goes the key to those handcuffs.
You. All right, Mr. Garth, we're ready.
What's happening to the lights?
What's the matter with the lights?
Lights!
Now, don't move, anybody.
All right, everybody, don't be alarmed. Everything's under control.
Guard that door, Dickens. Guard the door.
Guard that door, Dickens. Oh, sorry, I thought it was somebody else. Wait a minute.
Garth. Mr. Garth! Who's got the key to this door? Come on, open it up. The lights. Look. Say, what is this?
Mr. Garth, are you in there?
Garth! Well, thank heaven you're all right. Open up, Garth.
Come on, open it up. Hurry up. That's a nasty crack on the head. Get him to the hospital.
The jewels.
Inspector!
They got the jewels. You mean Mike Lanyard got them?
I suggest that we all submit to a search for our own protection.
You took the words right out of my mouth, mister. The inspector will see you one at a time in the captain's cabin. So just take it easy until we send for you.
The terrible thing, we must recover the jewels.
We'll find them if we have to tear this ship apart.
Everything's under control, sir. I got 2 squads searching the boat and a general alarm out for Lanyard.
I ought to choke you for leaving him alone on board.
I got a hunch where Lanyard's gone. I bet you he had a seaplane waiting on the river and he's now halfway to Canada.
Wonderful work, Dickens.
Lanyard.
Hello, Inspector. 15-2, 15-4, and the pair is 6, and I'm out. I knew you wanted to see me, Inspector, so...
You're under arrest.
There's no pleasing you, Inspector. You don't like it when I hide out, and you don't like it when I turn myself in.
Clever dodge, but it won't work. Lanyard, where are those jewels?
Your guess is as good as mine. Isn't that so, Jefferson?
Well, almost, sir.
Where are those jewels?
Now, we're all set for a nice little third-degree session.
For once, you're not kidding. Lanyard, why don't you try to make things easy for yourself?
For the 10,000th time, Inspector, I haven't got them, so I can't make it easy for myself. I can't take a light sentence and return the jewels.
How about you? Now, you make a clean breast of this whole thing, and I'll see that you get a light sentence as a dumb accomplice.
Inspector!
Lanyard, I promise you, you won't get more than 2 years up the river if you'll just give me back those jewels. Michael, just 2 little years? Well, did they find them?
The emergency squad has gone over the ship with a fine-tooth comb. They've searched everywhere and everybody. What'll we do with those other guys? Hold them?
Let them go ashore. We've got the men we want. Well, what do you want? Okay, Leonard. I take back my offer of clemency. Garth died in the ambulance. Any death caused in the commission of a felony is murder. Take him away in shackles. And don't try to move him to the lockup until you get an armored car.
You overestimate me, Inspector. Are you absolutely sure you wouldn't care to talk?
You know, sir, now is the time for one of your extra super special ideas.
I'm fresh out of ideas. Our only chance is to find out who got those jewels. I'm convinced it's not his doing. That leaves your friends from Hotel Burton.
That's Stewart. That's where I saw him. He's one of the group. And I think I saw Streever amongst the jewel buyers.
You've got to get on their trail and find out where they hid this stuff.
Yeah.
You'll have to get out of here first, and that's impossible.
I wouldn't bet on that if I were you, Lieutenant. Think you can manage it?
Oh, I can manage it all right, if only I can get ashore.
Hey, Dickens! Sergeant Dickens! What do you want? Because you ain't going to get it.
Tell the inspector I want to see him. Tell him I want to sign a confession.
Well, the inspector don't want to see you. No, sir. A confession? Wowie! Hold everything. Don't go away.
Well, that's my offer. I'll sign any confession you like.
And return the jewels?
And return the jewels if you let Jameson go free. After all, he shouldn't be held in jeopardy for something he doesn't even know about. Well, Inspector?
Okay, it's a deal. Now, where are those jewels?
I'll take you to them after Jameson goes free.
Isn't my word good enough? All right. Dickens, release the prisoner.
Yes, but I don't want to leave him.
Get off this boat or I'll throw you off.
What do you say, sir?
Do anything the inspector says, Jameson.
Very well, sir, but I can't...
Taxi! Oh, can I see you for a moment?
Oh, you have, madam. The moment's over. Taxi!
But I've got to find Mr. Lanyard.
He's already been found, madam. Oh, drive quickly, please.
Sorry to have to take you down into the engine room, Inspector.
Cut the talk. Go on.
Way down there?
Yes. Inspector, I'll need both hands.
All right, take him off. Joe.
Yes, sir.
You stay on guard here. If the prisoner tries to double back, shoot him.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Dickens.
All right. Go to the left, Dickens.
Look out, Inspector. These pipes are... Oh! Woo!
Come on, Lanyard, hurry up, hurry up. If you let me pass, I'll get them.
There's only one way out up this ladder. All right up there, Joe?
Nobody came up this way.
All right, after him. After him. Right out that way.
Spread out! Dickens, down there! Dickens, down there!
Leonard.
This way, Dickens! There he goes!
What's in there?
The porthole, sir.
Any other way out?
No, sir. The hatch of the upper deck is fastened down tight. Can't get away.
Come on out, Leonard. I'll give you just 2 minutes to come out. Get the tear gas.
Yes, the tear gas. Mr. Lanyard, I've got something for you.
We'll give him about 1 minute of that.
This'll make him sweat.
Oh, never mind the gas. Go in and get it.
But, Inspector...
Go on, go on. Come on, boys. on out, Lanyard. Come on, we've got you cornered. Stop crying and find him.
I ain't crying, I just can't help it.
Inspector, come here. They found him. Come on. It's a shell hole.
Shut up.
Be on the lookout for Michael Lanyard, alias the Lone Wolf. Age 36, height 6 feet, black mustache. Weight approximately 180 pounds. Wearing evening clothes. Wanted for...
Oh, I'd like to put the pinch on him.
Come on, let's go up.
Relax, relax. The last place in the world Mike Lanyard want to show his face tonight is around his own apartment. Those windows up there will stay dark.
Any calls for me? Well, if Mr. Jameson should phone, don't ring here. Just take the message. I'm not in. Don't move. Well, this is a pleasant surprise.
Mr. Lanyard, forgive me for coming here. Please don't misunderstand.
I won't. I'm just curious.
I don't know if all the things they say about you are true or not, but you've got to tell me one thing. Did you take those jewels?
Do you want a signed confession, too?
Well, I must know, because if you did, then Paul is innocent.
And if I didn't?
Well, then I don't know. He was desperate enough to do anything, and he was caught and...
Under suspicious circumstances? Well, that in itself would convince me that he was innocent. You know, I didn't believe that he was a crook, even when you both tried to make everyone think so.
Then you did it?
No. I think the gems were taken by an organization of jewel thieves. I'm expecting my assistant to make a report on them any minute.
You mean that nice little chubby man? Well, he's in some sort of trouble. I saw him kidnapped into a taxi cab.
Kidnapped? Are you sure you weren't followed here?
I don't think so.
Ouch. Street's full of them. When you drew them here, you'll have to help me.
Of course, anything.
Take off your cape and hat.
Shall we rush him now, Inspector? No, idiot. Lanyard isn't there. She's probably waiting for him. Holy smoke. It's Lanyard. Jim, get back top of the service head for Stuffy. Take the stairs. We'll sew him up so tight he'll never get out. You two come with me. Stand aside, sister. I'll open it for you. Come on, bust it in. Not that way, you fool. Did you ever hear of a ricochet? Sure, it's a Chinese taxi. Why? Keep an eye on her.
It'll be a pleasure.
Come on, bust it in. Bust it in. Come on. Why did you go to Mike Lanyard's apartment? And how did he escape from the apartment after we saw him at the window? What do you know about this case that you're not telling? Sergeant, save your breath. Oh, okay, miss, you can go now. But nobody will be allowed aboard that yacht till morning. I'm sorry this happened, but you shouldn't get mixed up with people like Michael Lanyard.
If you're so sure that Mr. Lanyard did this, then why are you holding Paul prisoner?
We're not. He was released a few minutes ago. If you hurry, you can catch him.
Thank you.
I get it, Inspector. She'll lead us to Lanyard. But I got a better idea. You know that Lanyard always does what we don't expect.
Well, what of it?
Well, naturally, we think he's taking it on the lam. But maybe he's fooling us again. Maybe he's gone back to the yacht.
Not bad, Sergeant. Not bad. Keep on trying, you'll work up to being a moron. Of course he'll go back to the yacht to pick up his loot. That's why I ordered everybody ashore to give him a chance. And he'll make that attempt before daylight.
Well, you don't expect me to carry the jewels around in my pocket, do you?
You're just in time. We've been getting a runaround. Mr. Lanyard is trying to pull the same routine. He didn't get the jewels.
He thought we got them.
But we changed his mind. Now he admits he got them. Only he doesn't want to divvy up until the police heat us off.
Take it easy, gentlemen.
You gonna string along with this wise guy?
He didn't get the jewels because he isn't Michael Lanyard.
What?
Michael Lanyard is in the hands of the police right now.
Then who is he?
As a matter of fact, gentlemen, you may not believe me, but
I wouldn't believe you if you told me you were bald-headed. Search him.
Don't stop it! I'm ticklish!
Hold everything! To Sergeant Wesley Dickens, in commemoration of his 20th year with the Detective Bureau. Wait a minute. This calls for a vote.
I vote no.
You're not voting this time, Mr. Sergeant Wesley Dickens.
Of all people, I would have to be him.
Unanimously voted that for our own protection we eliminate Sergeant Wesley Dickens. The next step is to decide who is to use the gun.
If you're going to draw lots, include me out. Sort of... Well, I couldn't do it. I'm going for a walk.
That all right, gentlemen?
Well, I propose that we draw lots to see who does the job.
I second that.
Me too.
Well, it's been moved and seconded that we draw lots. Any objections?
I have an objection, gentlemen. May I come in?
Who are you?
My name is Lanyard. Michael Lanyard.
Of course. Of course that's him.
Any objection to my joining the meeting?
You've got a lot of nerve coming here.
I have business here.
How did you get away? You were on the boat.
So were you. And if I'm not mistaken, you were the one who turned out the light so conveniently. Anyway, the jewels have been recovered by the police. Whoever hid them bungled it. A very amateurish job.
You mean you didn't get the jewels?
You missed, I missed. And there's only one point left to be cleared up. Him. Remember, he was impersonating me. And I want the privilege of erasing him myself.
You want to take the job off our hands?
It's obviously my duty. And my pleasure. I insist, gentlemen.
Hey, wait a minute. Why not? If Lanyard wants to run the risk.
Sure. Why not?
With your permission, gentlemen?
He's untying the guy.
Please, gentlemen. No more plays like that one. I have my own methods. I'll handle this in my own way. The key, Jameson. Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you, sir. You needn't have been so convincing. You almost had me believing it.
I almost believed it myself.
It was down this way.
What's wrong in there? Open up! I distinctly heard a shot in there.
Well, I never thought we'd get out of that one, sir.
We've got to get right back into something else. We're going back to the ship and find those jewels.
Quite convenient, sir.
Two visitors.
grab?
Inspector's orders. Anybody can go aboard, but nobody comes ashore.
Sorry, sir, but I've got fallen arches. No. This is all very tricky, sir. I don't see what we can do now we are here.
It's nearly morning. I can't keep out of the inspector's dragnet in the daylight. Whoever did this job must have left some loophole. We've been on the wrong track.
I see, sir. We could unravel the sock if we could only find the end of the yarn.
Yes, that's right. Hey? Jameson, Eureka.
What?
I've got it. You've given it to me. Jameson, you're marvelous.
Well, I do my best to give satisfaction, sir. Then does the raise in salary I gave myself this evening still hold good?
It does, Jameson, if we find a black thread tied to the ship's rail somewhere. Come on.
Everything all set.
So far, so good. We're playing with dynamite.
You're telling me.
You go that way.
I give you 10 seconds to prepare yourselves.
Couldn't you make it 20?
Anything to report?
Two of the men climbed aboard through a shell hole, and two more sneaked up the gangplank.
No, 3.
Seems to me there were 2.
No, 3. Well, never mind, never mind.
Here comes a couple more, Inspector. Hey, you!
Inspector, have you made any progress?
We expect to make an arrest any minute.
Inspector, it just occurred to me that perhaps the killer would return before daylight.
Come on! Lanyard.
Murder's getting to be a habit with you.
Believe it or not, Inspector, he's not dead. I hit him over the head with my stick just to keep him from executing us right here and now. He's coming to.
Oh, here they go like this.
Before you drag me away, Inspector, would you like to see the jewels?
I've been on that once.
One moment, Inspector. In a desperate situation like this, why not listen to the man?
I'll listen to him when I get him in the lockup. Come on.
Oh, careful, Inspector. Well, it looks as if somebody tied a cord across here.
Lanyard, if this is your idea of fun.
I assure you, Inspector, I never had less fun in my life, but I'd hate to leave this ship without seeing what's on the other end of this line.
Yeah. Yeah, pull it up.
You see, Inspector, it struck me that there are 2 ways to do a thing, forward and backward. Somebody used my plan for stealing the jewels, but they reversed it.
Here it comes, Inspector. Oh, come on, hurry up. Open it. Well, it looks like this case is solved. Don't bother to untie it. Cut it. Who's got a knife?
Yeah.
Hardware! Lanyard.
Sorry, Inspector. It was a setup to catch the real thief, but it misfired.
It backfired, you mean? To blow you right into the electric chair.
But, Inspector...
You've been doing your talking when we get down to headquarters. And you're going to tell me where those jewels are.
Oh, that. If that's all you want to know, they're in Colonel Costell's pockets.
Why, the man's insane.
Perhaps, but do you mind having a look?
If you wish. Name of the little blue man, but here they are. How
did I know? Because I put them there.
To save your own skin, huh?
I found them in that sack half an hour ago. But I couldn't leave them there, because the man who hid them simply had to come back and get them before daylight. He's on this ship now.
But who?
I might even be able to prove that, if the inspector would allow me to make a little demonstration. I suggest the method invented by the French sûreté, the reenactment of the crime.
An excellent idea. None of us will be above suspicion until the thief is found.
All right, Lanyard. But if this fails...
If it fails, I agree to confess to every unsolved crime on the docket at headquarters.
All right, go ahead.
The lights will go out. Then in about 84 seconds, the fire alarm sounds. Then in 50 seconds more, the lights come back on again.
Are we to guess at the time?
No, not at all. I have a stopwatch with an illuminated dial. If the inspector will be good enough to slip off these handcuffs... Very well, I'll try to do it this way. We must have someone to play the part of Garth.
That you, Dickens?
Me, Inspector?
You.
Oh. Everything must be just as it was. Garth was taking the jewels from the safe. The jewels, please.
Take them, Dickens.
All ready? All ready. Inspector, will you give the signal?
None of your light finger tricks now. All right, lights off.
One minute. 83. 84 seconds. Fire alarm. Now the killer has to run back from his fire. Get into this room, and then... 20 seconds to go. Now he's in this room. Now he's murdering Garth. Now... Turn up the lights.
They don't work. Somebody must pull a fuse.
Stop that door. Don't anybody move. Are you hit, Dickens?
No, here's what they shot at. The killer tried to put me out of the way because I know who he is.
I demand to be searched. I have no gun.
Neither have I.
The jewels, where are they?
I warned you, Lanyard.
Would you like to see them, Inspector? You see, the only way I could convince you that I'm innocent was to make the killer trap himself.
And you let him get away with those jewels again.
Well, not far away. There you are, Inspector.
Give me a key for these cuffs.
Here they are, Inspector.
Mr. Lanyard, how can I thank you?
Perhaps you'd better thank Lieutenant Bainoir, a countryman of yours.
Countryman? Young man, I can only say that you've done our country a great service. You'll be rewarded.
I ask only one thing. Restoration of my citizenship and rank so that I can go back and fight.
Whatever you may have been guilty of is outweighed by this. You will go back with us. I promise you.
It won't seem the same without you, Inspector.
I owe you an apology, Lanyard. But mark my words, someday you'll go too far.
The farther we go, the better, sir.
But we're in the clear, James.
Yes, I know, sir, but...
Well, Inspector, we've solved another one.
We? Something tells me it's about time for breakfast. My watch! Lanyard! Lanyard!
Jameson, what are we running for?
Well, I used Crane's watch as a target, sir.
Lanyard! Lanyard! You think it made him angry?
We need the exercise.